Uh, what's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to somebody who I didn't know existed until like literally 24 hours ago. She is my first cousin, an artist, a recovering, you know, uh, addict, right? Um, Proudly celebrating many, many years of sobriety. She's the one, the only Andrea Allen. Andrea, what's going on?
Not much. I'm blessed and highly favored. I feel like I'm thankful to be alive right now. The last 25 years have been chaos, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here. So I don't know where you want me to start.
No, that I mean that's pretty admirable because especially right now, where here in the states we have had for the better part of at least 20 years, but possibly 30, opiate epidemics, right? And it's basically filtered into every bit of society. Celebrities, sports stars, the common people, CEOs. No, it knows no boundaries, unfortunately.
And it usually does start from, you getting an injury some type of way. Well, when I was 19 years old, I had a car accident, and it was pretty bad. Well, of course, you go to the hospital and then they give you hydrocodone. Well, that was kind of where it all started. Um, uh, and by 20, I mean, that happened when I was 19, 18, 19, 18 or 19. And by the time I was 20, I was on oxycodone. I had doctors prescribing me oxycodone, 120 oxycodone, 120 oxycontin, 90 volume, 120 dilaudid K8. Oh, you name it, I was getting it. I was even getting Opana and fentanyl patches for a while there. Um, oh man, I'm talking about 20 years of doctors prescribing and over prescribing. And then they start making, when they start doing the opioid crisis is an epidemic. You got the DEA, who is now kicking in the pharmacy doors and the pill mills, the places they call pill mills, that just pump out pills, prescription pills, to anybody that comes and pays. um, when the DEA starts shutting those places down, then it leads to other habits. It leads to finding that fix any way you can to keep yourself out of withdrawals, which led to heroin addiction, which led to methamphetamine addiction, cocaine even. It was bad. It was bad. And um and we would get, I would get so many pills, and then my ex-husband, he would turn around and sell some of those pills at the beginning of the month, and then that got led him into getting into trouble and them watching my house. And it was crazy. That's how I ended up in lockup. I ended up having to do 2.5 years in prison, over him selling pills, and then our house getting raided. And 2 months before we got raided, I dreamed about it happening. I dreamed that there was police officers walking all through my house. And my husband had gotten shot in our doorway, in the middle of the night. um, this guy got into it with my next door neighbor, and then he goes home and gets drunk. Well, all the duplexes look alike on my street. And so he goes home and gets drunk, and he comes back at midnight, and it's raining outside, and he kicks in my front door. Our daughter runs to our bedroom and is like, somebody kicked in the door. Somebody kicked in the door. So we come to the front room, and my ex-husband was asking, why did you kick in my door? And he's pacing by the mailbox. We're like, who is it? What happened? And all of a sudden he just opens fire. And it was supposed to be meant for my neighbor to get shot, not my ex-husband to get shot. Some racial slurs were exchanged earlier that day. They got into an altercation. My neighbor's whole entire family came outside to beat this and he was a white male. But I can't say that he was a kid at the time. I was gonna call him a kid, but I think he was like maybe 18, 19 when it happened. And yeah, he came back drunk, kicked in the wrong door. And so that led to me getting guns. One of the charges out of 17 felony charges was the top class wide charge was possession of drugs and guns. They found, pills and stuff in the house and methamphetamine in somebody's pocket that they charged us with. Um, it's just, it's my life has been chaos, chaos. Um, but yeah, that, oh, all I can say is God is a deliverer. Do you hear me? And he will restore to you what the locust lost. I am sitting in a place right now that I never thought I would be. It's so many times that I thought to myself, am I going to die here? I overdosed off heroin twice before I came back to this city. I had to run for my life. I literally had to make up my mind and say, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. I am going to die. And even I had began mixing methamphetamine and heroin, which is speedballing, is what they call speedballing. And it can kill you. It will kill you. Okay. But I remember looking at this guy, he had just taken a hit of this heroin. And I remember looking at him, he stood up, he took 3 steps and his body hit the ground so hard, like smack. And I'm looking at that like, oh, okay, that's some good stuff. What are you thinking? Like, you just seen this young man fall and hit the ground. I'm face plant so hard. Why would you think in your mind I mean, like in hindsight, now that I'm awake, now that I'm alive, I look back at some of these periods in my life and I'm just like, how God had to have his hand on me. Somebody was praying for me. Somebody wanted me to make it. And I had to want it for myself. That is one of the main things about this all. I mean, like people can ask me all the time, how did you get past all this? You were addicted to all of these different drugs. How did you get past it? You have to want it for yourself. I don't care who wants it for you. Your mother could want it so bad. They could put you on a bus and try to ship you off to the best rehab, the one with the nice blue pools and, and catered food. You can send me anywhere, but until I will get right up out of that place. And if I still want to do it again, I'm going to do it again. I had to want it. I had to want it. I had to say, look at yourself. Look at you. You are close to death. I can see the bones in your face. I can see the bones in your chest. Your rib cage is shot. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, is this what I want to do? I mean, like I remember even one time I was at work and I was a store manager for Body Central. And I was sitting outside and I was just looking at all people come in and out the mall. And I'm thinking to myself, man, when am I going to ever be normal like this again? Like that they are. I'm just watching people walking and I don't know if their life is normal or not. Or they just look happy. They happy to be coming to the mall shopping. And all I'm thinking to myself is, man, I need a pill right now. I'm sweating. I'm going through withdrawals. I don't know. Let's see, should I call somebody? Let me see if I can get somebody on the phone. I gotta get something right now. Your body starts to hurt. Your bones start to hurt. Your eyes start to cry. When you are going through withdrawals, it's every bad feeling in this world that you could ever possibly imagine. You're sweating. You're shaking. You have diarrhea because the opioids constipate you. So when you're coming down, you have diarrhea real bad. Your bowel. Sometimes I didn't have a bowel movement for 3 months. This is how bad the opiates constipate you. And so yeah, you're sweating, shaking, uh, your eyes are crying, but you're not trying to cry. It's just all bad. You ever seen the movie Ray? You remember when Ray was in the bed and he was shaking and real bad. He was shaking real bad, and his wife was trying to get him past those withdrawals. That's literally where I found myself at a lot of times, like in my bed, just shaking and sweating. And you try to make it through the day. This all happened like after they start cutting prescriptions really hard. Like so, you know, on an average month, I'm getting maybe 500 pills of different things, and then they start making the cuts, and it went down to 120 of one and 90 of the other, and that was it. So you find yourself at a place where you're just trying to get past um, the withdrawals. You're just trying to keep yourself out of withdrawals, and you'll turn to anything because you don't want to feel it. I went through when I had to go through the worst part of it. One time I lost my scripts with the doctor, and I went through 30 days of withdrawal. I mean, I was sweating. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep, just in my bed, shaking and sweating, and couldn't even get up. Just like couldn't even find the energy to get up. So, and now, mind you, in the midst of all that, I had 3 kids now that are now grown, and also one adopted son who I brought to Fayetteville for a better life. And one day he went home after work, and I'm telling him it's raining outside, and he said, I have a hot date. I'm going out on this date with this girl, and she's so beautiful, and this is going to be our first date. I can't miss it. And he had these beautiful white flowers. And I'm like, oh, David, like, that's so sweet, but it's raining so hard outside. You might as well just stay here and Netflix and chill with us. And he said, no, I got to go home and get a shower. And he went home, and this guy that was staying in his house was just supposed to be paying the water bill. The water was off. They get to arguing about the water bill, and he stabbed my son 11 times, 10 times in the back and once in the jugular, and he died in his own apartment. And I miss him so much. I miss him. I'm sorry. I miss him so much. But that was just a sad situation. Well, he was in the Army, and he was supposed to be going back. He was a week short of going back. They called him back and told him that they were promoting him, and he didn't even make it to go back with them. And everything happens for a reason. I've come to accept everything that has happened in my past. I've come to make peace with it all, with everything, from child molestation at 6 years old, seeing, watching, witnessing, my ex-husband getting shot, losing my adopted son, having this addiction, which got worse after my son was murdered. And then to just be able to be sitting here right now. I mean, the prison time, everything that I have been through it's literally a testimony. All I can say is that God restores, and he keeps you through it. He keeps you. He kept me. I was abusing methamphetamine. These are my real teeth. These are mine. They belong to me. I don't have any fake ones in there anywhere. Okay. I did methamphetamine and heroin for 5 years. 5 years on the methamphetamine and 6 or 7 on heroin. And then all the rest of the 23 years in total, it was all 23 years for the opiate addiction. 25 years. Yeah. Nine, I left, I left Fayetteville after I had OD twice. I left there and I said, I just can't do this anymore. I came back to the city where my mom lives, and she's an ordained minister. So she literally just guided me to get back on my feet and you know, get myself together. I was a 00 when I arrived here. I am size 9 and got a fat face. Feels good. Um, but yeah, all I can say is I give God all the glory and all the honor and all the praise for just keeping me and helping me um, through all my mess. And my marriage ended after 23 years. It's so crazy because the guy that murdered my son got 23 years in prison. The guy that shot my ex-husband got 23 years. He got 3 counts of attempted murder. He got 23 years. And then my marriage ended after 23 years. So that number is kind of significant in my life. But yeah, but it's like since we've been apart, I've been just doing what I want to do. I would like to finish school, child psychology, because I feel like if I could get through everything I've been through, then anybody can do this. Anybody can. It's about a mindset too. You have to have that mindset where you're ready to say, hey, enough is enough. I'm ready to run. And if you have to get out of if you have to get out of that city you're in, away from the people that you were around that kept leading you down that same path. You notice that when you're trying to stop something, then the devil is always going to send somebody with what you wanted, like with what you thought you was trying to stop or quit doing. He'll send somebody just to give you something for free. When normally that don't happen. Just get it, okay, just out of the blue, you just gonna drop me off a pill. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of the blue, out of the blue, you gonna bring me a weed bag for free? Like, okay, yeah. He learns from our mistakes even when we don't, you
Yeah,
know?
100%.
Yeah.
Earlier, you were mentioning Fayetteville. Eric von Frankenstein Whitaker wants to know what state, Georgia or the Carolinas?
Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas. Okay,
Yes. Yes. Fayetteville, Arkansas.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, but you know what's super interesting about your story, right? Because I mean, in the human condition, right? As we go about life, I just watched the Gabriel Fernandez documentary about the boy here in California who was just basically mutilated by his mom and mom's boyfriend, right? And I mean, it's absolutely ghastly, but there's things that happen, right? Whether it be traumatic or not, heck, even Paris Hilton, right? Paris Hilton with everything that she was given as a youth and young woman, ended up having similar addictions, right? That it's not bereft of anyone. Like it can happen to anyone, but
Yes.
you've made it through like the darkest of darkest times, almost like
The
a phoenix.
trenches.
Yeah,
I'm coming out of the trenches. I'm talking about like out of the ashes like a phoenix. Okay. It's amazing. It's an absolutely amazing story. And like, every aspect of it. Even how we got to Arkansas. My stepfather's name was Calvin Marshall Green. And we went to a church called Progressive Baptist Church with Reverend Robert Westby. And my stepfather is who murdered the pastor of the church. And they were saying that my stepfather murdered him because he would not ordain him to be a minister. Well, come to find out later on, my mom was telling me that Robert Westby had been molesting my stepfather when he was a boy. So when my stepfather asked him to ordain him to be a minister, I remember so many days we would be sitting in church after the service was over, and my stepfather would be in the back begging him to ordain him. And I guess he got tired of asking, and he ended up hacking him to death. And then the media just would not leave, our family alone, and was asking mom, like, did you know he was going to do this? The church was a pretty big church, and you can look that up on Google. Calvin Marshall Green and Progressive Baptist Church murders Robert Westby. You can look that up. It's still there. Happened in 1989. So we ended up here, and then ended up in a city of child molesters. That molested me and my sister. And like, it just, but the great thing about it is my mother believed me, and she fought for, our safety and to get us away out of an abusive situation. And she did not for once doubt our words and what we were telling her. So, I mean, I love her to death for that. I don't know where I would be without her. She's a great, beautiful, most beautiful, wonderful woman in this whole wide world. And I could not ask for a better mother. I could not ask to be paired with a better person on this earth. She is great. She's so great. And
But
so she's the one.
yet you're a sum of all of your parts, positive or negative, and the choices. And I mean, I would have never known that about you looking at you, because you, it's almost like there's a glow, right? There's a glow. And
Everybody says that, and I seriously feel like that every day. I operate at the highest vibration on a daily basis. Every day is about being so thankful for everything that I have back, because I had everything. Like in Fayetteville, we had our own commercial lawn care service, and one of the sites that we had, one check for 2 weeks was $8,800. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I drove Jaguars and BMWs and, every color Escalade truck. And after all of that, after losing it all I can say is none of that stuff matters. The only thing that matters in life is to have great relationships with good people and non-toxic people. Non-toxic people, shut them out of your life. Get rid of them. Don't entertain them. You will never make your way back up to the top with people in your ear that are telling you you can't do this, or you can't do that, or oh, that's a bad idea. Anytime you bring up a business idea or something you want to do that could generate money, something you're good at, but see, other people don't see your dream. They don't see the dreams that God gives you. They don't see that. And when you mention it, sometimes, you got a little jealousy and envy that goes on. And you can tell those people, ask God for discernment, and you will be able to see them and know them when you see them, that, hey, that person doesn't have my best interest. So, I think I'm gonna have to do this solo. I think I'm gonna have to go alone. I don't need any friends. You know, if this is what friends do, they keep you caged. Y'all are not my circle. Y'all are my cage. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keeping me locked in by telling me, what I can and can't do, or I don't think that that's a good idea because you don't have the same vision, you know? So, yeah.
which is
So,
not which is not too dissimilar from like the Elon Musk and the what is it, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. We like those stories when it works to fit a particular narrative, but when it's somebody within our own community, and whatever community that is, when they want to start a podcast or you know uh, do music when everybody else has just worked regular jobs, so, it it can be unnerving, right?
yeah,
But the people that are telling you these things, they're telling you what they know, right? Because they might have had a dream at some point in their life, right?
yeah.
And maybe somebody was just like, "Hey, get real, anchor yourself. You don't do that and whatever." And now they kind of
You'll get
live,
that a lot.
yeah,
You will get that a lot. That's why, I've finally come to the conclusions where it's not good to share your dreams. Like, not with everybody. If you got somebody that's going to that's backing you and encouraging you, that's one thing. But if the person is constantly, knocking you or trying to tell you that you can't do it or that dream sounds silly, no, get that person out of your life. Remove them.
No, 100%.
Remove them. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's something that I too kind of struggle myself with in terms of like sharing stuff, because that's the way that I was brought up. Like my mom, Fijian woman, oh AJ, don't share your dreams, because if you do and it doesn't work, then you look like a fool, right? That was my mom, right? With
Uh-huh.
the British Commonwealth accent and what have you.
That's
Yeah, and
cute.
yeah, but then nowadays, right? It's the adage of speak it into existence, then it'll happen. I'm like, so I don't know what the hell to do. I'm like, ah,
That's true though. Like you are, it's that life and death is in the power of the tongue. Whatever you say shall come to pass. This is true.
yeah,
And it's so crazy. It took me this long to figure this out. You keep saying something long enough and you believe it, like with everything in you. That goes back to the Indians doing the rain dance, and they get in a circle and they, hey, yeah, hey. What they were doing was imagining what the mud feels like squishing in between their toes. They were imagining what it felt like for the raindrops to hit their face, and then all of a sudden it rains, because you have to imagine it. And that's if you dream it, then that's your imagination. You were gifted that dream by God. You know what I'm saying? They're giving you insight into your future, and that's the most beautiful gift that you can have, just to be able to see future events. And that I feel so blessed. I feel so blessed and highly favored to be able to do that. And I
no,
literally dream that I'm looking at myself on TV. This was last year. I dream I'm looking at myself on TV and I'm talking to a talk show host about how I overcame addiction. And here we are, and I don't even have a social media page.
there you go. And that person happens to be family, which is weird,
It
right?
happens to be family. It's like it's amazing. It's like whew.
Well, so,
Yeah, I feel so blessed. I really do.
well, you are, but the thing about it is, if those demons, right, would have I mean, they always manifest, right? But
Oh, they follow you.
right, absolutely. But if you kind of succumb to those things, the things that you wanted in your heart could never come to pass, because hey, you're not here, right? We don't know what happens in the sweet by and by, or your reincarnation, or whatever you believe in, right? Like we don't know past this existence, right?
I wouldn't say that, because I literally feel like my dreams are in another dimension, a future dimension, and this is an afterthought of the dream. You see what I'm saying? This right here, I dreamed this a year and a half ago. It's just now coming to reality. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to see it happen already, and then this be just late, like it's late. It's a year and a half later.
Mhm.
So all I can think is, this dimension. Now, mind you, when I dreamed about me getting raided, if I would have taken that dream, heeded that dream, cleaned up my home, got the guns out, and because the guy shot into my house, that's the reason why I
Mm.
bought the guns, and cleaned up, this guy gave my ex-husband some counterfeit money for some pills, and he thought he looked so real that counterfeit money sat on the dresser. Them 220s had sat on the dresser until the cops came running in, and then we got a forgery charge included in those 17 charges. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I would
Yeah.
have that dream and listened to it and cleaned up my home, then that would have never happened. The trajectory of my future would have changed. You see what I'm saying? I would have never gotten locked up. I would have never been. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And so if I don't heed it, and I don't do what it's showing me something that's going to happen. Okay, well, what can I do to prevent this? All right, I need to do A, B, C, and D. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much that's the way I look at it. So I love to dream, and I love to go to sleep early to make sure that I can dream. And it's I call them double and triple features, like, and always in full color, and I can read in my dreams, and I can never fly though. I've never flown, and I've never flown. I would like to. I can't though. It's always a scene. It's always like looking at a movie screen, and pretty amazing, just showing me what's gonna happen. Pretty amazing. Are we still on? All right. Well, I guess this is the end of the show. I don't know. But thank you guys for listening, and I guess I'll see y'all next time.